Today I took one of the most important pictures that one can take as a man to explain why dating still sucks. And I live here in Thailand. Ready? Here's a picture. Now you're probably wondering, Alex, what's the big deal? Is a Thai girl walking with a foreigner in Bangkok's finest parks? What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that, except for as I passed this couple by, I realized that my hand, this hand, was on that ass only a couple of days ago. And these lips were... so now, listen, full disclosure, I was the one who dumped the girl, so she's free to do whatever she wants. And honestly, she was actually quite respectful compared to most other experiences that most of us have been having with women, especially on first and second dates. But I couldn't take a picture of their faces, not because I physically couldn't, but we have pretty strict privacy laws here. So let me tell you that I would say that her face is about a 5 and her body is about an 8 from what I could tell and feel, I guess, which is pretty good here. If you're into any type of curves on either side, if you know what I mean, this is pretty rare. So an 8. And, the reason, okay, again, full disclosure, the reason I dumped her after a second date is she didn't want to go back to my room after 2 full dates and talking and all of that stuff and a makeout session and again, the hand on the ass. And now, a lot of times, for many years before that, I, and probably a lot of you, were wondering, well, how does this make sense? I mean, she's 38 years old, by the way. So almost 40, she's average looking. How can she afford acting like a 22-year-old model? I guarantee, let me know in the comment section if any of you have ever asked this question, I don't know, once, twice, or a million times in the last 5 years or so. Now, it used to bother me, but I already knew the answer, but a lot of us don't get to see, why. But here's why. There is always a simp with no self-respect and standards who's willing to take your place. As a matter of fact, in these 2 or 3 days, since our last date, I'm sure this is not even the first one after me, because there is usually a line, even though, average looking, and again, we're foreigners, so we're pretty rich here, pretty much all of us. So that is your answer. There's plenty of simps. And, simp stands for suckers idolizing mediocre pussy. This is exactly what you see in this picture. She's mediocre, and don't get me wrong, I wanted to hit that, but not bad enough to play her games and consistently go on dates and give her time and attention and validation for literally nothing in return. But this guy's willing to. Now, I don't want to speak for him, and this is why I didn't want to get his face in here. Maybe he's one of us and he'll recognize it in, a day or two and dump her as well. And then off she goes, and through then at some point 40s and antidepressants and cats, and by the age of 50 makes videos on the same platform right here where all the good men are, right? It is, and again, listen, I take some of the blame because I've always preached that if you come here to Thailand, do not date women who speak English. They are westernized. They can go with a bunch of simps who are foreigners and not blink an eye. And I did. I actually, the reason I did was, my impression was that she didn't speak any English or good English at all, and she was using a translator to talk to me. It's only when I got to our date that I realized, she actually, because I was trying to speak to her, in Thai, but she ended up, I could right away can tell she speaks much better English than my Thai. So we ended up switching to English. And the first date was actually very promising. She was on time. She was dressed well. I mean, it was really good first date. But after the second date, just our views on sex were just like, I'm not that kind of girl. I need emotional attachments or whatever. But I still want the dating and attention, all that stuff. And I always recommend that men walk away from that bullshit. But again, for as long as there are simps out there that are willing to take your place, lower their standards and entertain these women and spend money on them and give them attention and all that stuff. And again, I'm not saying this particular guy is. This will continue. But the reason I wanted to share this with you guys, because most of us don't really know what happens. Like, that's what happens. So, I just got lucky to bump into her and see it for myself. Now, I did send her this picture with a message. We'll see if she replies. I'm not sure if she will, but I'm sure I'll bump into her because we actually live pretty closely. We both walked to our date place from our condos. But I just wanted you guys to see this picture because this is why. Until we get rid of simps, or at least a good number of them, and there's plenty of them here, there's plenty of 99% of foreigners who come here, they simp. This is why this whole passport bro thing is a non-starter. It's just, you can't, there's no such thing as a passport bro anymore. It's not that much better here unless you learn the language and don't hang out in for touristy area, which takes several years. I'm on my year 3. I'm only now started going out on dates with women who don't speak any English. And there are many other nuances, dating traditional women. There's a lot of other things that you have to unfortunately consider, not just the language. So there you go. If you've ever wondered why in the world, why it makes no sense, she would not be, what else she's got to do? That is what she can do. And I'm sure when that guy realizes that he doesn't want to put up with that shit, there will be next one waiting.
Stop getting played. Download Block Her free at themillionmanproject.com.